To be honest, it has always been a known factor for me that I was a weird kid. So let us talk about it. Here is a few things that I did when I was younger that made me be alienated from others and be thought as a weird one. The first thing that I'm gonna talk about is being very talkative. I am a very talkative individual. I talk a lot wherever I go just to fill in the void of silence because I absolutely despise silence. A lot of my friends tell me I tend to talk a lot or make any sort of sound just to avoid being in a quiet situation, which is very weird and very odd. Especially when you know the other weird thing about me, being a white noise. Whenever I talk with my family, and especially being the youngest out of 9, I would easily be dismissed. And it is very weird to see how that transpired into school, especially when I tried to speak to a teacher or a student. I would literally go for hours trying to talk to them and be unheard. So imagine this, younger me sitting in the class, raising her hand for a whole class, going, Miss, teacher, for a whole 45 minutes, and not to be heard and not to be noticed. Especially I was very tall when I was younger, so I would be sat at the very, very end of the class. So I wasn't both heard and seen at that moment. So imagine how I felt wherever I go, being a white noise, and unfortunately, I still am a white noise. This happens a lot with my friends. My friends are awesome. They are incredible, amazing people. I wouldn't blame them if they wouldn't ask what I said, because sometimes I truly sound like when I'm speaking. The amount of times that I sounded like that is very hilarious. I have a friend who can literally quote my gibberish whenever she sees me. So I both was a gibberish speaker, so I tend to blend in with the backgrounds. With my parents and my family, I don't know why I'm like a white noise. I would be saying the most important thing, like the house is flooding, and nobody would hear it, and I would be scolded for not telling anyone. Why wasn't that? Wasn't why? I'm speaking gibberish right now. Why wouldn't I tell them that was the house was flooding? And I told you. They would say, we didn't hear you. Then I didn't tell them. Yeah, it is a very weird situation. I am a white noise, but at the same time, I'm a very talkative person who speaks gibberish. Here is 3 weird things. Another thing that everyone thought it was weird, but nowadays it's normal. If anyone see me do this, they would think, oh, it's very normal. I am the normalest human being ever, which is bringing the PSP everywhere. Nowadays, I bring the Switch. If I had a vital instrument, it would be the PSP. I would the amount of times I honed on this PSP, the time that I took care of the PSP, the amount of games that I bought for the PSP is ridiculous. I would be bringing it everywhere. I would, if I went to a party, the PSP is there with its headphones. If there is a family gathering, I would be headphones in and PSP on hands. If anybody in the hospital, I would be panicking and turning off the PSP and going around myself like a crazy individual. In school, I would bring the PSP. A lot of my classmates thought it was boyish to bring the PSP, so they labeled me in an all-girls school, a girl who wants to be a boy, which is very weird, and they made me feel like an imposter inside of the school, which I took to offense, and I actually didn't like that much because, to be honest, in look-wise, I wasn't very girly, and I wasn't even, boy-like. I was blobbish. I literally didn't have any significant feature about myself, that can identify who I am, exactly. So, it is very weird just to be in an all-girls school and being called the boy out of all the girls, which made me kind of self-cautious. I remember getting in trouble for a game where you go pew-pew on your head so you can get your powers out, which is Persona 3. And the funniest thing is, I didn't get in trouble for what is inside of this game. I got in trouble because there was boys inside of this game. And I got scolded and got the PSP taken away from me and sent to home. So, yeah. I didn't get in trouble with my parents. Actually, the school got in trouble with my parents. But after that, I wasn't allowed to bring it. So, I don't have any PSP and I have a lot of free time at school. What am I gonna do?
join the choir. Here is the other weird thing.
I thought it would be very fun to join the singing choir and be the one singing, especially since I discovered that I have a hidden voice that sounds very good, and I was very impressed by myself, so I decided to sing in front of the class. They made fun of me. After being made fun of instead of the class for singing, I went and decided to join the choir. As I was applying to the choir, I discovered that it was called The Elegancy of Singing. And I would call it nowadays the tragedy of being there.
The choir had really, really, really messed up, like, things. It felt like a cult. It felt like very weird. You go inside of the choir classes or the choir club classes and you want to sing with them. And you discovered there is stratification inside of the club, which is very weird. I was at the lowest of the low. I was lower than the people who were in the, like, lowest thing. The thing is, I was the lead inside of that choir, but it was torturous. They would make us skip our lunch breaks. They would make us do a lot of things. The weird thing isn't being a choir kid. It is how I dealt with being a choir kid. I have witnessed class division. I have witnessed stratification. I have witnessed people saying they are better than others just because they had some vocal talents. Kind of, like, better from the other student, which is, I would disagree. There's actually very good students who unfortunately didn't get the roles because the teachers would give you the roles based on how good you're doing with, like, grades. And I witnessed a bunch of students getting expelled over getting places and roles inside of, like, the choir thingy. And the funniest thing, we actually never won a contest. I wouldn't be upset. The next day, they would be upset, and I would tell everyone, guys, it's just a contest. And they would go, well, look who's talking. The one that doesn't even care. I don't understand, why are you there? I was like, girl, I'm just there to fill my time. Every time, I just, like, want to fill my time. Because I would get bored and I didn't have, like, friends at school because I'm a weird kid. So I joined the choir because, like, it was a great opportunity for me to not get bored. And actually they had really, really, really some cultish behavior happening inside of, like, the choir, because there is really, they would go full on Love Island on how they or who they want to disqualify from the choir and the song that we're gonna do. It was funny because I have always been the closest to get, like, disqualified, and at the very last moment, I don't know how I do it, I pull myself out of this disqualification and I continue with the song. It was hilarious to me, and the weird thing is not me leaving. Like, I actually was bothered sometimes at some situations that happened with me. I never complained. I never told my parents about this. I decided to stick to it because I would be bored if I didn't have it. Finally, the weirdest thing that I ever did, and unfortunately still do, which is recommend shows that are fake scenarios. I saw a bunch of my, like, classmates talking about shows. Like, they would watch a lot of shows that I have never been interested in. They would watch K-drama. I dabbled in K-drama and unfortunately never liked it. They would talk about a lot of stuff, and the only things that I used to watch, which is gameplays, and I'm not gonna talk about Sky Does Minecraft to them, or Dan to DM, or Tampei, or any Minecraft YouTuber, because they're gonna call me lame. And I will never talk about anime because that is lamer. What do you mean? It's cartoon, and nobody is watching cartoon at this moment. So what would I do is make up fake scenarios for a TV show. And the funniest thing is, I would tell them that I watched this show. Whenever who's listening, I would tell them what I thought of the idea. It's literally an idea that I make up at the spot with a made-up title at the spot too, because I just want to do a social interaction and I didn't know how to, so I thought this was, like, the best way to do this. So I would pitch it as a real show for them to watch it, and they would just, like, search for it. I don't know how would I sell it as a real, like, show, and they get so excited for it. They search it and they go, "Oh, we didn't find it," and I go, "Because it's niche, and I, like, found it by coincidence, and I'm not sure where is the link," and stuff like that. I did that till university. I would make up scenarios about TV shows and movies that I like in my head, ideas, okay? And I would pitch it as real TV shows, and people would get enthusiastic about them, and they would try to get them. Now I pitch them in a different way. I pitch them as ideas and stories, because I now some sort of know how to make a realistic human interaction without being weird, and I can tell them it's an idea and wonder if they would like it or not.
She uploaded, finally. Okay, first thing first, I want to say thank you guys.
I am only one subscriber away from getting to the big threes, the 333. I just want one subscriber, so I can screenshot and have it like I was once at 333, because 3 is my second luckiest number. My first luckiest number is -5. Yes, and the question for today's video, which is something new that I'm gonna start doing with every video that I'm gonna do, which is, what would be your vital instrument? From what you heard from my video, my vital instrument would be the PSP. I'm wondering what would be your vital instrument. If you don't know what I'm talking about the anime called Gacha Kyura, which has something called vital instruments. Yeah.